understand how to pronounce them correctly. Listen to this. Okay, you have Pakshi. When you read it as Pakshi, you should feel that you are touching the kakara before you that gives it that sound, Pakshi, right? Anybody has difficulty saying this sound? Kshatriya. Anybody has difficulty saying the sound? If there is, you may raise your hand and you can try it. No. Okay.
So when we say, I have one confusion, Shama. So mostly we don't say Kshama, we say Shama.
No.
Yeah.
Shama is wrong. Kshama is the correct way. You should not say Shama. It is Kshama.
Kshama. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Last one we normally say Gya. Is it Gya or Jya?
It is not Gya. I'm coming to it. I'm just coming to it. Okay. This letter is very easy. Everybody gets it right. Nobody has problem. Tra is easy. Trana, patra, all these words, very simple. Okay, so I'm not going to spend time on it. It contains takara and repa. Nobody has issues with this. This letter has problems because in different languages it is pronounced differently. Now, in Sanskritam, we will not pronounce this as kya, because gya involves gakara and yakara. You are reading this sound as a gya, this kind of a sound. There is no ga and ya in this sound. It is ja and nya. You should not read sometimes, for example, you read this word as, in some languages it is read like a pradnya or something like this. I'm not very sure, but something like this. Again, a the comes automatically, this becomes a na, adantya nakara, and then you have extra ya also. None of these are correct. Any other form, if you're using this way also, if you write like this, knya or whatever, that's also not correct. The correct form is with ja and nya only. So if you are used to saying agyan, vigyan, and you are not able to say this letter correct initially, it is a good idea to learn it with a supporting letter at the start, because that can give you a better idea of how to say. So put something at the beginning and then say this letter. So when you have something at the beginning to give you support, no, you can enter that next letter little more easily. So you should remember that you're reading this like this. Okay? Vijnana. Vijnana. This is how you should read. So you are touching this ja before you say the nya. Just like we did with pakshi. You touch the kakara before you say the murdhanya shakara. Similarly, you should touch the ja, but you don't want to highlight the ja. Just like we didn't highlight the kakara in pakshi. We didn't say pakshi. Bakshi, that's enough. Similarly, vijnanam, we don't say vijnanam. We don't want to highlight the ja there. Okay. Vijnanam is sufficient, or ajnanam is sufficient. Okay. Or another word is yajna, not yagya. Yajna. So can somebody, a few people who have difficulty or who don't know how to say this correctly, 3-4 of you can read this for me. The rest of you can get corrected as you learn the chanting. So maybe somebody can volunteer.
I would like to try.
Sure, please.
Yeah, so how do I didn't get how to pronounce.
Okay, so for example, you want to read Vijnanam, Vijnanam. So do you know to say this letter correctly? Nya.
Nya.
Correct. Nya. Now you want to just say Vijnanam.
Vijnanam.
Correct.
Correct?
Yes.
Vijnanam.
Correct. You'll have to practice. If you're not used to saying it that way, just practice it a few times, you'll get it. Once you are able to say Vijnanam, Matnyanam, Yajnaha, you are able to say that correctly, then you can bring it to the start, and then you should be able to say Jnana also correctly. Okay?
Yeah, I have habit of saying Vijnana, means T.
That should not be right. That's not correct because we don't have those letters, right?
Ah,
It is
okay,
not
so
comprising.
Vijnana.
Correct.
Vijnana.
So
Thank you so
if you feel like a visual aid will help you, you should write it like this initially for a few words, just so that your mind starts to accept that this is how it has to be read. Anybody else wants to try?
Yeah, can I try?
Sure, please.
Vijnana.
Yes, correct.
Can I
Somebody-
also try, please?
Yes, please.
It's Vijnanam.
Yeah, make sure you're not going into Dantya Nakara, okay? It should stay at Talu. This Vijnanam.
Vijnanam.
Nya, you're rubbing, your tongue should rub the Talu area. Is it doing correctly?
Vijnanam.
Good.
So it is this is Vivek Shinaji. So
Yes.
instead of gya, we will pronounce it jya. This akshar.
But again, the j will then omit the nasal nya, no? There is a nasal sound here. If you say j, then you're doing this.
No, jya.
You're sort of nasalizing it like this than actually using the nya sound. You're making it more like a nasalized form of the
Okay.
akara at the end than making it a nya. So with nya, now the nya sound should be heard very clearly.
I'm not because we always
Poonam ji, can you please mute?
Yeah.
Yeah, Vivek ji, can you repeat what you just said?
Then I am not getting how to pronounce this particular akshar separately because we used to call it
That's what I said. For people who don't know, forget about saying it separately. Can you say it with a syllable in front of it? Can you say yatnyaha?
Yagyana.
No. Nya. Can you say, see, you remember I said to do this sound, you have to say ja, 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 ja. Understand the position of the tongue when you're saying ja, and then go to nya. Exact same position you have to remember and say nya, which is nasalized.
Nya.
Correct. Nya.
Nya is the last part, right?
Correct.
How combine?
Purvoshi, Guruji, mute yourself. Yes. Vivek ji.
So nya is the last sound. How to
Correct.
second half? How to combine it with ja?
That's what I told you. When you are saying it, the j is not emphasized too much. You're just touching it and going. So vijnanam. So you should feel that vijnanam.
Vijnanam.
Don't do jnanam. Okay, vijnanam.
Vijnanam.
Jnanam. Say jnanam first. Just say nya.
Jnana.
You're getting the nya now correctly. Okay? You just have to say vijnanam or yatnyaha.
Vijnanam.
Not ga, okay? It is ja that you're touching. Which,
Oh.
I mean, you should not highlight the ja too much because then it sounds weird. It will sound like vijnanam or something. Don't do that. You're just giving it a slight touch and moving on. So vijnanam, that's it.
Vijnanam.
Yeah, you're getting. With practice, it will come. If you listen to audios, if you listen to any of the chanting audios, you should be able to pick it up. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Gurpreet ji.
Can I try?
Yes, please.
Vijnana.
No, nya is dental. It is a dantya varna. Vijnanam, you have to go to talu to say the nya.
Vijnana.
No, it's still very clearly. You know what you're doing is you're doing this. Jnana, you're doing like this. There is a dantya nakara, there is an unnecessary yakara. All these extra syllables are coming. Nya is talu. So say ja, ja, ja,
Ja,
ja.
ja,
Understand the position of the
ja.
tongue. Then say the nya at the same position.
Ja, ja, Vijnana.
Nya. Your tongue should rub
Nya.
on the talu properly.
Nya.
It's still sounding very dantya to me. You'll have to practice this sound with someone, like some mentor or somebody. Okay?
Okay.
Someone else has raised a hand.
Ma'am, so the word year and gear will sound like yagnya.
No, yajna. There is
Yagnya.
no ga. There is no ga. There is no ya. Okay,
No,
so
I mean to say that word where you have written year and gear, gear. Only the year
yajna.
and gear. This one, yes.
Ah.
So it will sound like yagnya.
Yes, yajna.
Okay,
Yes,
okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
yes. Correct.
Can I
Someone
try
else
once?
has raised Ananta Singh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Vijnana.
Yes. Correct. Good. Who else? Someone else? Is this Shweta?
Yeah. Vijnana.
Once again?
Vijnana.
Don't say the ja very audibly. Like it should not be, the Vijnanam. That's it.
Okay.
Can I
Vijnana.
try?
Yes, please.
Vijnanam.
No, that's what I said. Don't highlight the ja. Don't make it like which. Okay,
Okay.
Vijnanam.
Vijnanam.
Don't add too much air or anything to that letter. It's just Vijnanam.
Vijnanam.
I'm hearing
Alright.
Vijnanam, like in the English,
Yeah.
which, I'm hearing something like that. Okay, Vijnanam, that's it.
Vijnanam.
No, it's
Oh.
still coming as a which form. Can you say just Wij?
Which?
No, but you're sounding like a cha. This sound is what I'm hearing, like a which kind of sound, okay? So you have to make
Vijnanam.
the ja, but the ja should not be highlighted.
Vijnanam.
No, you still have to work on that ja sound of it. It should not be so highlighted, and it should not sound like this kind of a sound is what I'm hearing.
Okay.
Okay, just
And
work
shall I
on this
say?
with somebody. Okay.
Sure.
Hello. Yeah. Okay. Ritu ji.
Vijnana.
No, there is a gya, absolute
Okay.
gya that I can hear. Vijnanam.
Vijnana.
No. You have to say the
Yeah.
nya correctly. If you are
Yeah.
able.
Yeah.
No. Iya is wrong. It is just nya.
Nya. Nya.
Correct.
Vijnana. No.
Now don't say the ga. You're still making a wig there. Wij. So it's a ja. So vijnanam, and the ja is not going to get highlighted.
Vijnana.
No, now it went back to Vigyan.
Actually, like in North, it is like Gyani. It is like so much
Correct.
into the.
I understand. It is not the right way to pronounce that word. This letter doesn't comprise of ga and ya. Okay, it is like I told you, some metamorphosis that has happened to the sound in Hindi. But it's even in Hindi, the original, if you ask even a Hindi scholar, they will say the letter comprises of ja and nya. But somehow the pronunciation of nya is lost in Hindi. Even though I told you, you know to say Manjula. You know to say Manjula, but you don't know how to isolate that sound, because of which you try and avoid it. In most places, you try and avoid it. So it became Vigyan. Somehow it became like that. But that's not accepted in Sanskrit. Maybe in Hindi it's okay to say it, but even in Hindi it is ja plus nya. Okay?
Yeah.
So you will have to say with nya. That nya sound, you'll have to learn to say it.
Yeah. Vijnana. Vijnana. Okay,
You
we have to practice a lot in this.
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll have just like another person to say, then we move on. Otherwise, I'll be just spending time on this letter. One more person. Sumit Gupta.
Yes. Yeah. Ma'am, I have this confusion with Nya. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. In Nya, are we touching the tip of the tongue to the Talu? Because it is in Cha Varga.
No, Cha Varga, the tip of the tongue is not in action.
But when we say Nya, it sometimes feel like we are touching the tip of the tongue.
Because
to the
you are
Talu.
making it a Dantya Nakara. You are using the na. You're saying nya. You are not saying nya.
Nya.
What
Is
you are
it
doing is.
Yeah. You are writing something.
1 minute. I'm just trying to. So you are saying it with this letter, no? If you use, it is going to use the tip of the tongue. The na
Okay.
uses the tip of the tongue, but nya does not use the tip of the tongue. It is actually, if you can see me, if this is your tongue, it is like this portion of the tongue which is rubbing
Yeah.
on the talu region. It actually sort of
Okay.
has a rub,
Okay.
Nya. It's like as if you're
Yeah.
grinding the upper part with this.
Right.
Sort of, you can do that way.
Okay.
Not really a grind, but you kind of get that feeling over there. So it's
Right.
not the tip. The tip doesn't get touched. Okay. So if you're using
Okay.
this portion, then only, and that too on the talu, if you're using, then only you'll get this sound correctly.
Okay.
So it
Okay.
should be read as prajna or yajnaha.
Yajna.
Can you
Okay.
say it again?
Yajna.
Yajnaha.
Yajna.
That's better. It's better.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So now I'll just stop this. I don't want more people because it will take a lot of my time. Okay. So I shall just move ahead with the next part of the topic. Okay. Now there's one more letter that we sometimes see in the language, and that is this letter. The la. This is a retroflex sound. It is produced at the murdha. Okay. Now this lakara, if you see the Maheshwara Sutrani, it is not present in the Maheshwara Sutrani nor in your Varnamala anywhere. Look at the Varnamala. The lakara is not present anywhere nor in the Maheshwara Sutrani. So lakara is not considered as a Varna in Laukika Sanskritam or classical Sanskritam. However, it is seen in Vaidika Sanskritam. So the first mantra of the Rig Veda is Agni Mile Purohitam, right? So you see Agni Mile. Now what you have to understand that is even in the Vaidika Sanskritam, the Lakara is not existing as a letter by itself or it presents itself in a word. It's not existing like that. It is coming as a substitution letter. So the original mantra was Agnim This is how it is. So Agnim Ide. Okay, the word was Ide, which means I worship. This da is getting replaced by the la. So it becomes Ide. Okay, it is not that the la is existing in the word or presents itself in a word by itself. No, it is coming like a substitution letter even in Vaidika Sanskritam. And it comes in place of usually the dakara and sometimes even the dhakara in some places. Okay. So this la is never really taught in the Varnamala when you are studying classical Sanskritam or the Laukika Sanskritam. But it exists and you should know how to say la because it comes in the Rigvedic mantras and all. In some places you will find it. So Agni Mile. Now this la you can say only if you roll your tongue to the Murdha position. So this was your So this position, this is the position where your tongue should roll, where you did your ta varga, ta varga, ta, tha, dha, dha, na. That position you roll and then say the la, then you will be able to say the la. Yeah, la. Okay, so you can say Agnimile and see if you are able to say it. One or two people can try.
Agnimile.
Deepak ji.
Agnimile.
Very good. Nice. Those who don't know to say it, please raise, because there are many South Indian languages. Everybody knows. Marathi people know to say it very well. Only those who don't know. Shalini ji.
Agnimile.
Very good. Anyone else wants to try? Rohit ji.
Yeah, please.
Agnimile.
Yes. Once more.
Agnimile.
Very good.
Ma'am, can I also try?
One person, please. Bharti ji.
Agnimile.
Very good. Who is the other
Ma'am, can I try?
Yes.
Ma'am, can I try now?
Yes.
It's Agnimile.
Mile.
Agnimile.
Le. Okay. La. The la feeling should come in it. La. So mile.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. There's no la when I'm saying.
No la, but it's like as if you're saying the la, but not dante, it is murdhanya. So la.
So
It's not a ra sound, it is a la sound. That's what I'm saying. Because even the ra sound, which is there in southern languages, is murdhanya sound. So differentiate between the ra and the la.
Ma'am, can you say it again, please?
Agni Meele.
Agni Meele. Meele. Oh,
Slightly going into the ra sound than the la sound, as far as I can see. Okay.
Agni Meele.
Fine, fine.
Okay, ma'am. Thank
Madhuraj
you.
has been saying something. You want to say it, right? No? Okay, fine. All right. So we shall now come to what we want to discuss today, which is the Ayoga Vahahas. Okay. All right. Okay, so now we come to what are Ayoga Vahahas. There are 4 of them, which is the Anuswara, Visargaha. This is called the Upadhmaniyaha, and this is called the Jihvamuliyaha. I'll just write down the names, although the names are not important for you to remember, but just so that when I say, you should be able to follow what it is. Anuswaraha, Visargaha, Upadhmaniyaha, and the Jihvamuliyaha. Okay, 4 of them. Now, Anuswara, Visarga, I think everybody knows. Anuswara is that dot that you put on top. Visarga is the 2 dots that you put on the side. Upadhmaniyaha and Jihvamuliyaha are new terms for you people. Some of you who already know the chanting know what it is, but maybe didn't know the terms. Okay, these are technical terms. Terms are not important. But for all chanters to understand, this is very, very important to get the finesse in your chanting. Okay. Now, why are these 4 special characters called as Ayogavaha? Now, in your childhood, when you learnt your Varnamala, you did aha in the Swara Varnamala, a, e, e, and then aha, right? But in Sanskritam, we do not add the Anuswara and Visarga into the Swara category because they are not independent sounds. Why are they called as Ayogavaha? Now, let's look at the Anuswara and Visarga in the Maheshwara Sutrani. Do you see the Anuswara and Visarga anywhere in the Maheshwara Sutrani? You are not going to see it. It's not there. Right?
Yeah.
So, what we say is that these 4 special characters, they don't have a yoga with the Maheshwara Sutrani. That means they are not in union, which means they are not present in the Maheshwara Sutrani, and therefore they are called as Ayogaha because they don't have a yoga with respect to the Maheshwara Sutrani. But they are Vahaha. Vaha, the word Vaha means something that carries. Carries out what? They are seen to carry out some function in the language. So they are seen to be doing some role in the language, and therefore they are called as Vahaha or Vahaha. So together they are called as Ayogavaha, means they are not part of the Maheshwara Sutrani, but they are seen to do something in the language. Okay. Now, the Anuswara. Where does this Anuswara, how does this Anuswara come about? Okay. Mostly the Anuswara is a replacement for the Makara. So, for example, if I write the word aham and then I write another word gachami. Okay. When this makara, which is at the end of a word, sees that there is a consonant coming after, there is a vyanjanam coming after it, this makara can be replaced or is replaced by an anuswara. And you read it as aham gachami. So in your books, in the Mantra Pushpam book, you are going to see Anuswara in such places where at the end of a word, there are some places where you will see it in between a word also, but right now I'm going to talk about what happens when it comes at the end of a word. So you will see places where there are Anuswara at the end of the word and it is left as is. Okay. Now at this stage where you see this aham gachami, this Anuswara sees that there is a Gakara coming right after. Gakara, if you remember, is part of the Kavarga. And what was the Anunasika of Kavarga? Anyone?
Nya.
Nga.
No.
Nga sound. The Nga sound. Okay. So what does this do? What can we do here? We can say this aham gacchami like this. So you can do this sandhi further and say aham gacchami. Just like you did with Ganga. When we did this, we did it like this, huh? Ganga. Ganga, like that. Aham gacchami. You can do this. Now, if it could be done, then why are your books still writing it like this over this form? It could have been done for you. A lot of the sandhis are already done for you. This is because from this to this is an optional sandhi as far as Vyakaranam is concerned. It is an optional sandhi to say aham gacchami. You can just leave it at this point and leave it as aham gacchami there. That's it. You can just do that. The reason why this option is given is because this anuswara is a pure nasal sound. So when you are saying a nasal sound, your tongue is in a neutral position. When your tongue is in a neutral position, it can go anywhere in the vocal, in the sthanam areas. It can move anywhere very easily. When your tongue is neutral, it can go anywhere. So when you say aham, you can go to ga, cha, ta, any letter very easily. Okay, so you can leave it at that point, or you make it more easier by going to nga. You move your tongue to the nga position and then say gacchami. The transitioning is very smooth. It moves very smoothly. See, in Ganga, no, you are not given an option. You cannot say Ganga. You are not allowed because it is coming within a word. So you cannot say Ganga. But at the end of a word, when you're moving from one word to the other, you are given an option to say aham gacchami or aham gacchami. Now at the start, you've been hearing from the past few classes, Gananantva, the Ganapati mantra, right? Gananantva. What happens over there? The form is Gananam Tva. What is happening to this anuswara? Can someone tell me what am I replacing it with?
Na, with
No.
No.
With a
With
dantya
na.
nakara. With a
No.
dantya nakara, because you have a takara here, which is a tavargiya varna. Right? So you say ganana antva versus ganana antva. If you say both can be said with ease. I can say ganana antva, both I can say because tongue is neutral in when I say ganana. But if you see the flow and the smoothness of the transition, this one is smoother. Ganana antva ganapati gum havamahe kavim kavinam. Now here it is kavim kavinam. Right? Here also, there are people who will say kavim kavinam. Why are they able to say it? Because tongue is neutral. But if you say kavim kavinam, there is a smoothness. Okay? So in chanting, you are expected to do this sandhi. Even though Vyakarana Drishti, there is no problem with either of them. As far as Vaidika chanting is concerned, there is an expectation to do this sandhi. But as far as the Devanagari Lipi is concerned, if you are reading anything in Devanagari Lipi, and especially in the Mantra Pushpam book, you will notice that this sandhi is not done for you. So you will see in Chamakam, you will have this. It is written as Shamchame, but everyone will ask you to read it as Shanchame. You will not be allowed to say Shamchame. Why? Because Shanchame, the smoothness and the flow of it is much nicer than saying Shamchame. Do you feel it? Do you feel that Shamchame versus Shanchame? Shanchame, Mayaschame, Priyanchame. When you do Priyanchame, instead of doing Priyamchame, you say Priyanchame. Can you all appreciate that? The smoothness of that
Yes.
transition?
Yes, ma'am. It
Yes,
sounds
ma'am.
so beautiful and
Yes.
that okay.
Rohit has raised his hand. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to.
Can you
What
speak
I
a little
understand
louder,
is,
please?
yeah, what I understand is, like aham, it comes in the end, and your mouth closes, and that is why you're saying that in the end, if it comes, it's okay because naturally the mouth will close. But if it comes in between, like in Ganga, your mouth is not closing, so you have to make an extra effort. to again open the mouth, and that is why it's prohibited to say it in between.
You
Does
could say
that make
that.
sense?
Yeah, you could say
Yeah.
that. Okay. So the rule is, and just before there are some people raising the hand, I'll come to them. But just before that, I want to just state the rule. So you have an anuswara at the end of the word, followed by any vargiya vyanjanam. Okay, vargiya vyanjanam. Then you replace the anuswara with the anunasika varna of that varga, of this varga. Okay, anunasika of the vargiya vyanjanam. That particular respective varga, whatever it is. Okay, vargiya. You understood that, no? So you will say, I'll just give some examples. We did that. We saw Gananantva, we saw that, which is with the nakara. Aham gachami, we saw. Shanchame, we saw. Let's say aham. Sorry, I'll put directly the anuswara now. Aham dhakkam vadayami. Okay. So here you see, you can say this as ahan dhakkam and so on. And if it is with pavarga, like aham pachami, you can say it as aham pachami, because makara is the anunasika varna of the pavargiya vyanjana or pavarga. Okay. So aham pachami. Someone had raised a hand, they put it down. No more questions, I suppose. Okay. Is this clear to all of you? Whatever I just told?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay. So now we have to see what happens when you have an anuswara followed by the avargiya vyanjanam. This was very easy. The vargiya vyanjanam rule is very simple. Now what happens when the anuswara is followed by the avargiya vyanjanams? So if an anuswara is immediately followed by a yakara, a word beginning with a yakara, then this anuswara will be replaced by a nasalized yakara. How do you say the nasalized yakara? You'll say it I. I. Where have you seen it? Sorry.
And I'm
Triambakam yajamahe.
Yes. Triambakam yajamahe. You will read this as Triambakai yajamahe. So Triambakai yajamahe. This is how you should read, not Triambakam yajamahe. Although Triambakam yajamahe is not wrong grammatically. So you are not going to affect the meaning of the mantra or anything of that sort. But in Vaidika chanting, there is an expectation that you must do Triambakai yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam. Like that you should do. Okay? So I sound. Now, if you observed, I put, while I'm saying it, I am putting an akara in front of it, because otherwise I can't nasalize a pure consonant. Okay. Even to say a pure consonant is difficult. If you notice, normally I will say the yakara like this with an a at the end of it. That's how I will say even a consonant when I want to talk about it. So I'm putting an akara in front and not at the end, because if I put it at the end, I will read it as a ya. And if I'm reading it as a ya, if I read it like this, what am I doing? I am nasalizing the akara and not the yakara. I want only the ya to be nasalized. There is no nasalization of akara that happens in this situation. Okay. So therefore, I am putting the akara at the front so that I can say it clearly. Okay. So I understand that. So even when you say trembakai, there is that I sound coming at the end, because the ka is, it sort of helps you because there are letters in front of it. It is sort of helping you to say it. What do you do when you have an anuswara followed by a vakara? You replace anuswara with the au sound, or I should not put it like that. Just not au sound, au. So where will you see it? For example, you got to read it as samvatsaraha, samvatsaraha. Saying samvatsara is not wrong. When you say samvatsaraha is also correct. But if you were to chant this in the context of Veda mantras, you have to read it as Samvatsaraha. If I want to say Aham vadami. Aham vadami. This is how I should read. Aham vadami. Okay? Pavish Raina ji.
Yeah. So ma'am, we are basically saying that here, these letters, whenever an amkara is preceded by it, so we have to join the amkara and that specific sound to create that specific consonant to create that sound, right? Like
No, once again, please repeat.
So if this anuswara is coming before here lover, so we will basically join these two. So yang, yam, ya, so like that.
Join as in, yeah, see, Sandhi means what? Sandhi means when two letters, let's say there is A and B, when they are coming very close to each other and there is a closeness between them, then some sort of a transformation is happening over there. Either they get blended into something else, or a new sound may come, or something happens. And it happens between two varnas. So here it is happening between an anuswara and the next letter, whatever that is. So if it is one of those antastahas, then this is what is happening. They get replaced by the nasalized form of those sounds. Because remember, anuswara is a nasalized sound. So if it has to get replaced, it is getting replaced by a savarna form of that letter. Meaning something that sound which is also nasalized. Only with that you can do. Okay. Now, repha, you cannot nasalize repha. It is not possible to nasalize. If you do or whatever, na, either you will lose that r sound of it or something will happen. But you cannot nasalize repha. So ya will be done, va will be done, lakara. Suppose you say aham likhami. Then this can get replaced by the nasalized lakara, which is ahal likhami. Ahal likhami. Sallapaha. Sallapaha. This is how you have to say. If you were to not read a Veda mantra, you can read it as Samlapaha. You can read it as Samvatsaraha. It's okay. Perfectly fine. Okay. But if you are reading a Veda mantra, there is an expectation that you must read this way. Okay. Now, anybody else?
क्यों बैठा इधर?
Who's talking? Indira ji?
Sorry.
Yes. Okay. Now, as far as your love verb, we understood repha, you are not going to nasalize. Then comes sha, sa, and ha. When anuswara is followed by these letters, you will do nothing. The anuswara remains as an anuswara, which means if you were to read this word, you are not going to read it as ansha, which is how typically a lot of people read it as ansha. It has to be read as amsha. Okay, you cannot change the sound of the anuswara because it's not getting replaced by anything in this case. If you were to read, let's say, tam shanmukham, you will read it as tam shanmukham and not tan shanmukham or something like that. You know, you do not try to replace it with a vargiya sprishta varna. You do not try to replace it with the sprishta anunasika varna. Remember the sparsha varnas, all the vargiya vyanjanas are sparsha varnas. You remember I told you they have a clear touch. You cannot do that. Even with ya, la and va, we are not replacing it with any of the sparsha varnas. They are replacing it with their own nasalized forms. But these being sibilants, these three are called sibilants. They have the hissing sound. You cannot nasalize those sounds. Sha cannot be nasalized. Sha cannot be nasalized. Sa also cannot be nasalized. Hakara also cannot be nasalized. So none of these sounds can be nasalized and therefore they keep. So you will not read this word as Sanskrita, but you will read it as Samskritam. Now you know, right from the start I've been saying Samskritam. Now you know why. You cannot do it. Hakara, Samharaha. Samharaha, not any other thing, whichever you are thinking of doing. You cannot do it. Okay? Anybody has any doubts at this point?
Ma'am, like you said, sure,
can't be nasalized. Same way, even here cannot be nasalized, right? But
Yes,
we
did no?
tried to.
We did it. We did it. We were able to nasalize. Trimbakai yajamahe.
But with that
Sallam.
logic, I can
The
also say
sha will
shai.
lose its, see, the sha is a mahaprana. If you try to, and all the nasika varnas cannot be done as a mahaprana. If you look at the na, nya, na, none of them are mahapranas. You will not be able to exhale air and say it in the nasalized form of sha at the same time. It's not possible. You try saying ashur. You can't do it. Ashur. How you do it?
I was trying to do shang.
See, when you do sham, a sha, you are not nasalizing the sh, you are nasalizing the a at the end of it. That is possible. You can nasalize the a at the end of it because all the swaras can be nasalized.
Okay,
All the
with
swara,
what you're trying to say is with ya, I can nasalize at the same time. Young.
yes, I am able to nasalize the ya itself, the pure consonant itself, I'm nasalizing. See, the only reason I told you that I added an akara in front is because I want to isolate and say it, which is little difficult because all consonants are little difficult to isolate and say. If you just ask me to say ta, then it's so hard for me to just isolate and say ta. You know, I'm always adding an akara at the end of it. Right? Hai. So that is the reason why I put an a in front of it so that you can hear the nasalization of the yakara clearly.
Okay.
Okay. But the sh, so all of them having lot of air and breath coming out, you can't nasalize them. Okay. So ansha, and then there is one more reason. It's not just this reason. There is, it's just technical. But if anybody has any residual doubts about this, because most of the Hindi language speakers will say, or the North Indian people tend to say ansha and Sanskrit and all this, right? So just to clarify that for you, I will tell you what does Panini say about it. So there is a sutram in the Ashtadhyayi which says Anuswarasya Yai Parasavarna. There is a sutram in the Ashtadhyayi which says this. So he says that whenever the Anuswara is followed by a Yai letter, what is Yai letter? It is this set from here till here. If it is followed by a Yai letter, then you replace the Anuswara with a Savarna form of those Yai letters. So what can be the Savarna form? Only the nasalized forms of those letters. So for Kavarga, nasalized form is the Nga. For Chavarga, nasalized form is the Nya letter. For Ya, it is the I sound, right? So whenever Anuswara is followed by any of the Yai letters, then only you will replace it by a Parasavarna Varna or a Savarna form of that. Okay, you notice the conspicuous absence of Sha, Sha, Sa and Ha. They are not part of it. So you do not do anything to the Anuswara when these letters come. No substitution is allowed as per the Paninian grammar. Fine? Is this clear? So when you're reading in Sanskritam at least, you will not say Ansha, Sanskrit or anything like that, okay? You have to read. Where did I write it here? Yeah, you will not read it like that. You will read as Samhara, Samskritam and so on. Now, here is where things get even more interesting. Someone has raised hand, Lavanya ji. Yes.
Ma'am, the la, if you go back to that Panini Sutra which you explained, is la part of the below part from that year to year?
Yes, it is over here.
Okay. There's one more la below, right? Along the
That
shirt.
all the, this la you're talking about?
Huh.
All the Antya Varnas are not to be taken. They are not included in the set. The Antya Varnas are considered like delimiters. They are indicating end of a statement. So you omit it. You never include that. It is just indicating end of a set.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Hi. Now, what was
One last question. When you say Sanskritam, basically when you said for Sasha, you don't have to replace, you have to say its original sound. What is the original sound? Is it N or M?
Okay, so remember what I told you, it is a replacement of this letter, right?
Okay.
Now this is an Oshtha Varna, but Anuswara is not an Oshtha Varna. It is a nasal sound, but it kind of sounds like a ma. There is a subtle difference between Makara sound and the Anuswara sound, but it is more or less like a ma sound, okay, to make it easy for you to understand. So Samskritam is how you will say. But here is where it gets very interesting. In the Yajurveda, wherever the Anuswara is followed by these sounds where the Anuswara is not changing, that is Repha, Shakara, Shakara, Sakara, and Hakara. When these 5 letters are coming, the Anuswara gets replaced by the Gum or the Gus. You must have heard Ganana Antva Ganapati Gum Havamahe Ganapatim Havamahe. This is how it should have been read. But instead, this Anuswara gets replaced by this, the Gum. And it happens in the case where the Anuswara is not getting any other form of substitutions or anything. The Gum is added to give it some clarity. And it's done only in the Yajurveda. It is not found in Rig Veda. So if you read the Ganapati mantra in Rig Veda, you will say Ganapatim Havamahe with in its style, whatever the Rig Vedic style is. But in the Yajurveda, you are going to read it as Ganapati Gum Havamahe. Okay? Now, so if you were to read Amsha,
I have a question.
I'll come to you.
Okay.
If you were to read Amsha, you will read it as Agumsha. Okay, Agumsha. If you were to read Samskritam, okay, now what you will read here is Saguskritam. Where does the Gus come versus the Gum? The Gum comes when you have these letters, whichever letters I wrote earlier, but the Gus comes when there is a conjunct with that letter. Sa half something, sha half something, that's when you will use the Gus form of it. Now, do you need to know which to use when? No, it's already done for you in the book. The Gum and the Gus will be given to you in your book already. So you don't have to figure and do it on your own, but it is good to know why that is coming or where it is coming. That's why I brought this up. You can understand now how the progression happened to this point, right? Why this is coming. Yes, Pavishji.
So when I heard the Rudram Namakam, so they kind of pronounce it like Gum. Is it Gum or is it just Gum?
Gum. It's more like that only. Gum.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Anybody else? No doubts, right? Is this part clear? The Anuswara is now clear for everybody. Nobody has any doubts, right? Okay, good. So now we move to Visargaha. Yeah. Yeah, the Visarga. What is a Visargaha? Anybody knows? Visarga. Yes.
2 dots.
Yes.
You said Visarga, the 2.
2 dots. But what is it actually doing? It is nothing but Visarjanam. You know Visarjanam, right? Ganapati Visarjanam, we have heard. What are you doing? Letting go. That means you are releasing. Releasing what? The breath. The air. That's what a Visarga is doing. Every time you are saying a Visarga, you are letting go of air. No, Anuswara, Visarga, all of them don't have independent existence. Huh? They need a Swara to utter. So even Anuswara, for example, is always, it comes into existence because you have a Swara with it. Otherwise, you cannot say. So, im, aim, aum, you can say, but only with the help of a Swara. Similarly, Visarga also comes with a Swara only. So, aha, aha, ihi, ihi, uhu. This is how you will say ehe. When it comes to I and au, so you have to be a little careful. You don't say I he, but rather you say I, au. Okay, so here the ending sound is the E and the U. Why do the Visarga take that kind of sound is whichever swara it is sitting with, as you are releasing the breath takes the flavor of the swara that it was sitting with. So when you say this word, you say it as Ramah. Ramah. The visarga takes that a sound with it as you're releasing the air. Okay? Or you say Kavi. You say Kavihi. Kavihi. Okay? The visarga takes the sound of the swara that it was sitting with. Or Guru. Guru. Kavehe. Kavehe. Guroho. Guroho. Okay? Gauhu. Gauhu. Or etaihi. Etaihi. This is how the sound will be of the visarga when you are using it in when you're chanting the mantras. Okay, when they are staying. Now, the thing is, visarga undergoes a lot of changes. Okay, not a very right way of saying it, but okay, just to make it easy for you people, let's say that visarga undergoes many changes. Most of the changes are already done for you in your book. So you don't have to worry about all of those. But there are a few optional sandhis that are not done for you. For example, if you have a visarga followed by a sa, the visarga gets replaced by a sa. So for example, you have Namaha Sita Pataye. You want to say this. Okay, then this visarga can get replaced by a sakara and you can read it as Namasita Pataye. Now this is an optional sandhi and therefore it will not be done in your book. Specifically, I'm talking about the Devanagari Lipi. I don't know about other lipis, how they do it. But at least in the Devanagari Lipi, it's unlikely that this sandhi will be done for you. So in that case, again, because this is a Vedic chanting, there is an expectation that you must do this sandhi. Because if you don't do the sandhi, then you will have to read this as Namaha Sita Pataye. This causes a break in the chanting, which means you are not trying to combine these two. You are saying each word separately. So you will say Namaha Sita Pataye. Now, if in an everyday, like at home, you are chanting, you are not doing any specific Veda mantra as such, it's okay to say Namaha Sita Pataye, perfectly fine. But when you are doing Veda mantras, like in a flow you're saying, you should not say Namaha Sita Pataye, you say Namas Sita Pataye. You're going to see this everywhere in Rudram, Chamakam, everywhere you're going to see these sandhis happening. See this one. Om. Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. If you see the last Shantihi, okay, everybody say that way. But here, you must replace it with a Shakara. When Visarga is followed by a Shakara, you replace it with a Shakara. So you say Om Shantish, Shantish, Shantihi. If you are not doing the Sandhi, then the way to say it would be Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. Now what happens with several people is, when they don't know this rule, they end up just saying Om Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. That Visarga is eaten up or it's not said. This is not allowed. You cannot not say the Visarga. You cannot leave it blank, which means you are doing a Visarga Lopa. That is not allowed. That is grammatically incorrect. Visarga Lopa happens where it has to happen, but it doesn't happen here. So here, either you say it or you say it with a Shakara. So typically, because you will see that when you say Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi versus Om Shantish, Shantish, Shantihi, there is a flow to the second one versus the first one, because there you are taking a break everywhere. Now, because this part is at the end, it doesn't matter really whether how you are saying it. But if it came in between a mantra, if you take that break, it kind of affects the flow of that mantra. Okay.
Ma'am, do we ever have to do Om Shivaha, Shivaha, Shivaha? Do we have to ever do that? And why do we do Shivaha? Why do we not Shiv, Shiv? What's the difference between Shiv and Shivaha?
Okay, first thing is it's not Shiv. This was discussed in the first class.
Yeah, but why? What's the reason? Is the reason because it's a god or something?
You're asking why am I saying it with a visarga and not without a visarga? Is that your question?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the language, Shivaha is the name. Shiva is the root word for Shivaha. The root from
Okay.
where the word Shivaha comes is from the word Shiva.
Okay.
And also when I want to do Sambodhana, when I want to call out, I will say, Hey Shiva. I won't say, Hey Shivaha.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But if I'm talking about Shiva, I want to say something about him, I will use Shivaha form. That is the correct form. That is the declension for that particular word.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Ramaha, Shivaha, that is how it is.
Okay. Okay.
Now, so when Visarga is followed by a Sakara, you replace this with a Sakara. Visarga followed by Shakara, you replace this with a Shakara.
Hmm.
If Visarga followed by Murdhanya Shakara, you will, oh sorry, this is Talavya Shakara. Murdhanya Shakara, you will replace it with a Murdhanya Shakara. So for example, you say, you want to say Ramaha Shanmukham Pashyati. Okay.
Okay.
So here I can replace this with a Rama Shanmukham Pashyati. I can say instead of saying Ramaha Shanmukham Pashyati. Now this is not a mantra, it's a statement. But
Okay.
wherever you see it, if you happen to see it, Tanna Shanmukham Prachodayana, Tanna Shanmukha.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
is Tannaha Shanmukha. This can be replaced only with a Shagara.
Acha.
Okay. And it is expected that you have to do it that way.
Okay.
There's no other. It cannot be Tanno Shanmukha. In one of the books I had seen it as Tanno. That is wrong. It has to be Tannash Shanmukha. That way.
Tannashan. Acha.
Yeah. And that also Murdhanya Shakar. Okay. So Tannash Shanmukha. That way.
Acha.
Okay.
Thank you.
These sandhis are not done. That's why I'm specifically highlighting them. Because other sandhis of Visarga are all done for you. So you don't have to worry about them. Now there is one more Visarga which will appear to be not done, which is in the Rudram, for example, you'll see Mahadbhyaha Shullakebhyan Shullakebhyaha Shulla. This is the spelling. Shullakebhyaha. Whenever a Visarga is followed by a Ksha sound, this sound, this Visarga gets the full sound. That means you will not try to cut it or anything. You will say Mahadbhyaha, Shullakebhyaha, that way. Whatever the rest of the mantra is, okay? Mahadbhyaha. So wherever you are seeing the Visarga, let me tell you the couple of places where it comes. Mahadbhyaha. So there is one Mahatbhyaha, Shullakebhyaha, that is one. And the other is coming at Namo Namaha Kshatribhyas. So this comes like this. Namaha Kshatribhyaha. Here also you will say Namaha Kshatribhyaha. You will not do any change to this Visarga. It has to be given the full sound. Wherever it is coming, even in the middle if it is coming, it has to be given. So Namo Namaha Kshatribhyas Sangrihitrebhyas, like that it will go. So this one you have to remember. Visarga followed by Ksha, you will keep it as it is. You will not do any changes to it. Okay? Is this clear to everybody?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So that is as far as Visarga is concerned. Now we come to the question that I have been asked since day one. Okay. Very interesting things are these. The next two characters, which is very important for chanters to understand, because you cannot read much about it. You have to understand it by listening to it. Okay. So this is called an Upadhmaniya, this Visarga, and this is called a Jihva Muliyaha. Now what is happening? Understand, you have a Visarga and some word, let's say Ramaha Pachati. I have a Visarga and immediately after the Visarga, I am having the letter Pa. Okay. Now what is happening? Remember I told you Visarga is exhalation. That means you are exhaling some air as you say Ramaha. The Akar with the A, you are saying Ramaha. As you are exhaling it, you are anticipating a Pa Varna coming right after it. So what will you do? You will close your lips to say the Pa. But you are exhaling at this point. At this point, there was an exhalation happening. At pa, you have started to close. Imagine, now these are sandhis. This is actually like you're saying it fast. You're not giving space. You're not saying Rama.
Watch Jenkins coming, Noni. Can you
Dishaji,
see it?
Dishaji, Dishaji, could you please mute yourself? So you're saying Ramaha and then Pachati, but you're not saying it with a space between them. Okay? You are going to say them smoothly and fast. So what is happening? You are exhaling air, you're anticipating a pa, your lips close to say a pa, but there was air that has filled up in your mouth and it has to come out. So what will happen? It is coming out through a small gap between your lips. I'm going to just for a moment stop sharing the screen, okay? Because you need to see me. How do I pin myself? Okay. Yes. So now observe what I'm doing here. Ramaha Pachati. If I were to say this with the proper sound given to that visarga, it will sound Ramah Pachati. Now observe, this particular sound is often misrepresented and the visarga is told, the people will say, replace the visarga with a fa sound, Ramah Pachati. This is incorrect. You cannot introduce an unnecessary sound fa. It's a totally different character. If you see for fa, I have to use my upper teeth and lower lip for fa sound. Fa first and foremost doesn't exist. But even in this context, it makes no sense to introduce a fa sound there because you are trying to say pa. So why are you bringing a foreign sound in between or something totally unrelated sound in between? So what are you doing? You are exhaling, your lips are closing and the air escapes with a gush out of your lips, causing a blowing effect. Ramah Pachati. So when I am saying Ramah, observe, only my lips, I'm using only my lips. Ramah Pachati. But there is an exhalation like I'm blowing out something. So if I keep my fingers, I should feel a gush of air on my fingers. Ramah Pachati. You should feel it. If you're feeling it, you're doing it right. Don't say Ramafa. Don't make it like a fan fa. That sound is incorrect. For the listener, it might sound like a fa. The listener might be hearing it like a fa, but you should not use your teeth. You're using both your lips. You're correct. So the word upadhamaniya, it is called an upadhamaniya. The dhma in it means to blow. Okay. Upa means coming close to something. So you're coming close to blowing. So typically when you blow, okay, observe me, when you're blowing something, you can do it in two ways. Either you will use the oo sound, like you will keep your mouth like the oo and you blow like this, which you blow a candle or something, you do this way. Or you will do it like, you have, you want to remove the malai of the tea very gently, you want to put it onto the side, you won't blow foo, all the tea will come out of the cup, right? So you do a softer blow, which is, you do like this. This is the kind of effect you will have more or less when you're doing this sound, not the oo sound, because that's a wrong movement of the lips, because you're closing the lips to say pa, right? So Rama Pachati, Rama Pachati. But it is not even that you're replacing the visarga with a pa sound. So it's not Rama Pachati. That is incorrect. Because then the blowing doesn't happen. You have to make sure there is a blowing effect. So Rama Pachati. This is how it should be. You should feel the blow. And every time you do it, you should keep, at least in the beginning, when you're not used to it, you must keep your fingers before the lips to feel the blow as you say it. Every time, whenever the mantra is coming, initially do it. Afterwards, it will become second nature for you. So Rama Pachati. Okay. So the sentence which the person, that lady who asked me, it was ye janaha paryupasate. So it becomes ye janah paryupasate. Ye janah paryupasate. You should feel it on your this. No fur. Okay, Shweta ji, you have a question.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, this rule is only for pakara or all the pavarga varnas?
No, only for pa and ha. For the other letters, the visarga changes into something else. There are other visarga sandhi rules that apply, but for pa and pa and ka and kha, only these sort of rules come.
Okay. Thank you.
It's actually the question can be answered a little more deeply if I could have explained what happens with cha, cha, ta, tha, but that is going into a
Yeah.
Vyakaranam class. Okay, I don't want to waste people's time here for that. If with that you will understand this even better, why this rule comes like this.
So
Okay.
if there are different Visarga rules for most of the Varnas, can we get like a list of those rules?
No. I'm telling you, you need to study Vyakaranam to understand. If I just give you the rules like that, I mean, I can give it to you, but you're not going to remember it. Even people who study Sanskritam often make mistakes in the Visarga Sandhi rules because they're just little too complicated. Too many combinations are there. I can give you, but it is not required because all the Sandhis are done for you.
In the
All the Visarga
while
Sandhis are already done for you. So why do you need to know?
okay.
Unless
Okay.
you want to study, then that's a different thing.
Because I think this rule, when I started learning, so this for actually the teacher who had taught me had actually said the same thing, which you said not to do, right? That replace the visarga with for. And similarly for ksha. So those rules were not there in the script that we were following. So we had to remember those while we were chanting. But now for the further classes, you're saying all those, the script will be such that we don't need to remember the rule.
All the other sandhis are done. You know why they are done? Because they are compulsory sandhis. There is no option in others. These sandhis, which I told you, visarga followed by sa, visarga followed by sha, these are optional sandhis. And therefore, at least as far as I know, Mantra Pushpam book does not do it. And there are several, online variations that I have seen also don't do these sandhis. But every other sandhi will be done. There is no way you will say, Namaha Hiranya Bahave. Namo Hiranya Bahave. The Namaha is becoming Namo. It's already done for you. You understand? So all other sandhis must be done. There is no way they will not do it for you. Only the ones which are not done and which are optional as far as Vyakaranam is concerned. That's what I'm talking to you about, because in Vedic mantras it is required. If you are reading Bhagavad Gita, if you didn't do it, it is perfectly okay. Nobody cares. But when you're doing Veda mantra, there is because the focus is on the sound wave pattern and the frequency that it creates, it must have that flow. If you're not doing the sandhi, means there is a vyavadhanam, there is a gap. That gap might affect the flow, no? Meaning may not get affected. That's what.
Only for those optional sandhi rules can we get a list somewhere, or if I Google, will I
I
find
can
it?
send it to you. It's already explained here, but I can send it to you
Yeah.
on WhatsApp.
Oh, thank you so
If I
much.
forget, please send me a message. And just put a reminder in case I forget it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So the other one is the Jihva Mulyaha. The same logic you are going to apply for the Jihva Mulyaha. Now here what you are doing, again, Visarga, you are letting go of air, and the next letter, it will be either a Kakara or a Khakara. That means the Alpa Prana or the Mahaprana form of the Kavarga letters. Just these two, okay? Specific to these two. What are you doing? Visarga, letting go of air, but now your tongue is moving to the Kanthya position. Remember, Kavarga is a Kanthya, so your tongue is moving backward to say the Ka. Okay, so you want to say, for example, Namaha Krishnaya. You want to say that. Namaha Krishnaya. You are anticipating the Kakara, the Visarga your tongue moves back. The air that was being pushed out gets blocked at the base of the tongue, at the Jihva Moolam. Jihva means the tongue, Moolam is the base. So at the base of the tongue, the air is getting cut off. Now, in the case of the Jihva Mulya, if you say this, you are not going to hear any blowing sound. See, in the other one, very clearly they called it Upadhamaniyahan. It was having a blowing effect. But Jihva Mulya, there is no blowing effect. So if I want to say Namaha Krishnaya and say the Jihva Mulya sound, I will say Namah Krishnaya. I am not trying to replace the Visarga with a Kakara. If that was the intention, Panini would have said, please replace, just like all the other Visarga Sandhi rules, where clearly he will say, replace Visarga with Sa, replace Visarga with U, replace this. He'll tell you many things. But he does not say replace Visarga with a Kakara. Because that's not what you're trying to do there. You're not introducing an unnecessary sound there. It is just the natural way in which your tongue is just moving. As a result, it is creating some sound. Okay, so Namah Krishnaya. Now, I'll just share my screen again. This sound, no, almost, I think everybody knows how to use it. Have you always wondered why do we have this visarga here? There is this visarga, strange visarga. You don't write it with this word, right? So when you read this word, you say sukham. But when you read this, you don't read as dukham. How do we read this?
Dukham.
Once again, louder.
Dukham.
No. Someone else?
It's dukham.
Yes, that was very clear. Dukham. You see that? This is nothing but a jihvamulya. Dukham. So you are cutting the visarga at the base of your tongue and then saying the kham after that. Dukham. Okay? Did you understand? Everybody, I think most people get it. Very few people are there who have probably not understood how to say that, but mostly everyone knows how to say this particular sound. So if you know to say dukham correctly, you should not have a problem saying Namah Krishnaya. Yes, Rohit.
Yeah, so is it like there is a Dvityam, you always double sound the word?
Can you speak louder, please? I'm not able to hear you.
Do you have to double sound, like the kha will come twice, which is called Dvityam, which has
No,
to be.
there is no dvitvam. That's what I was saying. We are not trying to
Yeah.
replace the visarga with a ka. It is just the natural sound that it is creating as a result of blocking the air at the base.
So basically, we are not trying, but it might appear like it's being
Yes, it does appear like a kakara to the listener.
Okay.
Just like I said, when I said Namah Parvati Pataye, I am not trying to say a fa, but the listener might hear it as a fa. Okay? Is that clear, Rohiji?
I think it's because
yes.
you blocked the her word, and when you say kha, that her comes along with kha, therefore kha becomes more pronounced. It becomes
You could, yeah,
dukham.
that's what I said. It might appear like a kakara to the listener, but you're not making an attempt to say dukh. You're not trying to do that. Dukkham. You're not trying to enunciate it. It's just naturally happening to be sounding like that.
Okay.
Okay. So if you understood this will make your chanting of this one. This Upadhamaniya Jubhamulya is expected. Please, you will never read it as Nama Krishnaya or Nama Parvati Pataya. You cannot omit the Visarga. Visarga needs due respect. If you see the Visarga, it needs its due respect. Something must be done out of it. Either you replace it with something or you say it like in this case. Okay? Is this clear? Is this clear? Are you okay to just stay for 5 more minutes? Because I'm almost done with all the varnas. I just want to wind up. If you're okay, you can stay. Otherwise,
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise I don't need to go into another class, right, for this.
Yes.
Okay, so this summarizes all the stuff, all the sthanams that we had studied. Okay, this is how we learn it. Akuha visarjaniyanam kantha. Akara kavarga. Ku is kavarga. Hakara visarjana means your visarga. All of them, their position is kantha. Ichu yashanam talu. Ikara. Chu is your chavarga. Yakara, shakara. All of them position is talu. This is summarizing what we did. Ritu rashanam murdha. Rikara, tavarga, repha, shakara. All of them position is murdha. So if anybody had doubt about rikaras, because some people say ru, some people say ri, this clearly tells you it is a murdhanya varna only. Lutulasanam dantaha. The lukara, tavarga, lakara, sakara, all of them are dantya varnas. Upupadmaniyanam oshthav. Ukara, this one you will have to read it like this. U and upadmaniya. Okay. So this is ukara, pavarga, and the upadmaniya. All of them are oshthav. Again, upadmaniya. You understand that why it cannot be pa? Because clearly defined as a oshtya sound only. So if anyone says it's a fa, you can tell them upadmaniyanam oshthav, very clearly defined. It cannot have dantya sound. The danta cannot be used there. Nyamagananam nasikacha. So the nya, nyakara, makara, ngakara, nakara, nakara. All of them are nasikacha. That means they have nasika as well as their respective sthanam. You remember they are vargiya vyanjanams. So they also have a sthanam along with the nasika. Edaitoho kantathalu. That is ekara and aikara are kantathalu varnas. Odavtoho kanthaushtam, that is okara and aukara are kanthaushthya varna that we had seen already. Vakarasya dantoshtam, very clearly it is a dantoshtya varna. Jivhamulyasya jivhamulam is the position. Nasika anuswarasya anuswara is a nasika varna. Okay, so this is summarizing all that we did. Then the hakara, that special sound of hakara, which is aurasya, it is defined over here in the Paniniya Shiksha. Hakaram panchamair yuktam antastabishcha sanyutam urasyam tam vijaniyat kantyamahur sanyutam. So it says hakaram panchamaihi yuktam. Panchamaihi means your fifth of this, the fifth varnas. That is nga, nya, na, nam. Right? These letters. If the hakara is combining with the panchama letters or with the antastahas. Which are the antastahas? These. Yara, la and va. Okay. Then what happens? Urasyam tam vijaniyat. Know them as being an aurasya varna. It is coming from the uras. Okay. Kanthyam ahuhu asanyutam. That means if it is not a conjunct hakara, if the hakara is not coming as a conjunct, then it is a kanthya varna. Okay, this is where it says in the Paninian Shiksha. Okay. Do we have time for this? Would you like to do this or should we stop? Please let me know. I'll do else. I had thought we'll have a few people say some of these to practice.
I'm okay with time. If you can.
I have to leave.
Everybody else, some people also must say.
I have
Later,
to-
ma'am. Later, ma'am.
Later? Okay, fine. Then we'll stop here. All right. Or maybe I can just, I don't know, I'll check with Rohitji what we want to do because it's the only thing that is left. Nothing more to do now. Okay?
Ma'am, why don't you finish it because it's all linked
Yeah.
together?
Yeah, finish.
Fine. So we'll have, let's say, now you have to put everything that you studied together to read this correctly. Okay? So one person, can you try and read the first one? Anybody?
Ma'am, can I try?
Yes, please.
Ritus Sudarshana Kala Parameshti Parigraha.
Yes, continue.
Okay. Ugras Samvatsaro Daksho Vishramo Vishwadakshinaha.
Very good. So samvatsaraha, you could say it as samvatsara. So samvatsaro. That
Okay.
part.
Because
Okay. Okay, good. Someone else? The next one? Rahulji?
I can try.
Yes.
Brahmanyo Brahma.
Brahman.
No, Rahulji.
Brahmanyo Brahma.
No. It is not Brahma, no? Brahmanyo. That hakara should be there.
Brahmanyo Brahmakradam Brahma 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 Virvadhana.
No. See, read this carefully. Brahmanyo, Brahmakrit, Brahma, Brahma Vivardhanaha. Now, oh, wait. You know what? I'll do this next class. There is one more part that I have not done. We'll do it in the next class. Okay, I don't want to take it up now. It's something that I have to still do, which is the Alpa Prana Mahapranas. I have not done that. We'll do it in the next class. Okay?
Ma'am, can you please just repeat one place where you corrected someone in the previous Ucharan?
Which one?
Where
think
were
there's
some was
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Sauvatsaro. Sauvatsaro.
Matrodksho.
Sound.
Vishramo. Vishwadakshina.
Okay. We'll do the Alpa Prana Mahaprana in the next. And that time we'll do this. So we'll have more time and we don't have to rush.
Ma'am, O is Oka Matra. Is that Alpa Prana or Mahaprana?
See, the Mahaprana Alpa Prana is not applicable to Swaras. Who's asking this question?
Ma'am, Shweta.
Someone else is talking. Yeah, it's not applicable to the Swaras. It is applicable only to the Vyanjanams.
But ma'am, when it is put as a Matra to the Vyanjanam, right? So let's say Samvatsaro. So that ro will be like elongated or...
No, that is a different thing. You're talking about Raswa Dirgha and Alpa Prana Mahaprana is a different thing. That is amount breadth that you need. Okay? So this is a Dirgha Varna.
Okay.
O is a Dirgha Varna.
Okay.
A, I, O, Au are all Dirghas.
So if
The
it would have been
Yes.
sorry, if it would have been the double oka matra, so then only the sound would change, but the duration would have been the same in terms of elongating.
Say ow sound.
Yes,
Is the duration is the same. A,
duration
I,
is.
O, ow. All of them same duration. Same as you will say for a or e or u. Whatever duration you're giving there, the exact same duration you have to give for a, I, o, ow also. Because they're all
Got it. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other question related to today's topic?
Yeah, I have something.
Yes.
Actually, I'm not able to read everything that you said. I can actually understand the gist of what you're saying. Is this so when we learn the mantras, is it necessary that we have to read it?
With Devanagari script?
Yeah.
No. You don't. In fact, many of these people I think who are attending are also probably not going to be reading in Devanagari. They may be reading in Tamil, Telugu, whatever language they have. But they will have to, I see, because I don't know those scripts and how the notations Anuswara is written or anything. They'll have to apply it by themselves. They'll have to understand this and then do the application there, whatever. For many of them, it might be already done and they may not have to do anything. Now, as for you, if you are not reading it in any other regional language script and you're reading in English, there are several people in our previous batches who are also doing it in English, and it is doable. The only thing you will have to work on is to understand the correct sound mapping with the IAST form of the script. So you will have all those diacritical marks and you have to understand what sound is matching. So a lot of the times they forget, like you have to know, for example, the tavarga is a little difficult for the English speaking people because they don't use tavarga so much. So they tend to make it a ta. They like to say the hard ta versus the ta sound. So you have to constantly correct them, and say this is dental T, dental T. Then only they know to move their tongue to the dental position. So it is doable for you. It's not that you can't, but you have to have the right association with the sound and the letter that you're reading in the English language. So in the English language, mostly you will not have so much of a problem with these sandhis because I think they might already do it for you. But if it's not done, you will have to pick it up on the way. That means either you have to listen carefully to the audio or your teacher or whoever is teaching you will correct you that this is the sound you need to make here if it's not done for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anybody else has any other doubt, or we can close? If I see comments in the chat, I'm not sure if there are any questions. Okay. So Padmania, I think all that is done. Okay. Any other comments? Preferably you put in the WhatsApp group because here I hardly check the chat while I'm teaching, so I won't know if you're asking. All right. So shall we close for today? Sorry for the little extended time. Okay.
Ma'am, just one question. When we pronounce Samvrita, am I correct pronouncing it correctly? Samvrita.
See, when you're saying Samvrita, it is fine. But if you're chanting it, you will say Samvrita.
Samvrita. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Both are correct grammatically, but in chanting, you must do this way. Fine?
Okay. Thank you.
Ma'am, I think when you asked us to read, you put the Vishnu Sahasranamam Stotram. Can you just go to that, please? I just want to know how you pronounce the first word in the first shloka that you had put.
Ritus Sudarshana Kalak.
Ritus. Okay.
Not
I
Ru.
just want
Ritus.
Ritus.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I will just close it, okay?
Thank you, Seena ji.
Om Bhadrangarani Vishnu Yamadevaha Bhadram Vashyemakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Stuštuvagum Sastanubhihi Vishemadevahitai Swasti na Indro Vridhashavaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastaksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspati Dadhatu Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Thank you all, and I'm really sorry for extending your time like this.
Thank you so much for this valuable time.
We realized that you extended.
Thank you so much, ma'am.